Why are we pumping right now? I'm going to tell you, but first we have lots of news to cover here. There were $280 million worth of Bitcoin shorts liquidated over the past 24 hours. So that had something to do with it. What happened? These are shorts, right? So it's people betting that the price is going to go down with money that they don't have. So then when the price moves against them going up, it means they have to sell or they have to buy to cover their shorts. So this is gambling. This is like going to the slot machine and hoping for the best. That's what it is, because nobody knows what the price of Bitcoin is going to do in the short term. We know what's going to happen in the long term, but short term, I couldn't even care less. All right, because I'm not liquidated. I'm not a short or a long. I just buy spot and hold. I dollar cost average during the bear market, and I can just chill during the bull market. If you want to see what we're doing all the time, especially during the bear markets, which are the best time to buy, check out learningcrypto.com. Okay, moving on. We have QE Affinity on Twitter saying Trump added that China tariffs won't be 145%, but they won't be zero either. Now, some people think markets are higher on this news. I think what is happening right now is that the trade negotiations are just being absolutely obliterated, and I think some bad things are going to come down the pike. I really hope I'm wrong. No matter what happens next, nothing's going to go back to normal in your entire lifetime. The monkey is out of the bag, or whatever it's called. So what's going to happen? Tons and tons of currency printing from the Federal Reserve. And I'm going to cover this as well. This is really interesting what was happened today as well. I'm going to get into that, but first, gold has dropped about 200 bucks. And so, which is interesting because, you know, it had risen so much and people were like, okay, it's never going to go down because of what's happening. Well, things go up and things go down, okay? Even when, you know, Trump got in and brought in his new cabinet that was supposed to be pro-Bitcoin, and, you know, all these strategic reserves were coming about, and the ETFs and all that stuff, the people think, oh, it's going to go up forever. No, it's not. Things go up and things go down, okay? Nothing goes up forever, and nothing, well, actually, I shouldn't say nothing goes down forever, because some things do go down forever. But nothing definitely doesn't go up forever. Okay, Trump says he has no intention of firing Federal Reserve Jerome Powell. In other words, you gotta kind of look into this. In other words, he knows he can't do anything about the Federal Reserve Jerome Powell, okay? Jerome Powell is the figurehead for the Federal Reserve, which are the most powerful families in the world that print your currency, own central banks, own governments all around the world. Trump has no say, okay? Because recently, Trump said Powell was not doing very great. I could remove him very quickly if I wanted to. And then he also said, I'm studying to see if I can remove Jerome Powell. Very confusing. I wouldn't listen to Trump. Wouldn't listen to any president. Just look at what central banks are doing, because they run the show. They've been running this show since 1913. Okay, moving on. This is from Zero Hedge. This is from a while back. Okay, this is from the 5th of this month. The last time the market dropped 9.5% in 2 days, so that's what actually happened back on the 5th. The Fed unleashed a multi-trillion-dollar bailout of the economy, including $500 billion in QE, $1 trillion daily repo, and tens of billions in junk bond ETF purchases. So what is going to be happening right now? I think the market kind of finally knows that the Fed is going to print. They're going to print so much freaking currency. It's unbelievable. If you think last time Trump was president, I think under his papacy, there was $6.4 trillion printed, okay? This time, oh, mark my words, baby. Under him, the Fed is gonna print so much more currency. It'll make your head spin. What loves currency printing and currency devaluation? Gold, Bitcoin, real estate, stocks, they all love it, okay? So don't worry about Bitcoin in the short term. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. Let the liquidations happen. It's beautiful, kicking over leveraged people out, and healthy market can arise. Okay, moving on, we also have Bitcoin flipping Google's market cap. Bitcoin's market cap is at $1.862 trillion, and Alphabet Google is $1.859 So yes, it passed it, and expect that to keep on going in the future. Over the long run, you're gonna see Bitcoin as a #1 asset class in the world. And today, 14 years ago, Satoshi Nakamoto left his final message before disappearing and leaving Bitcoin to grow independently. His last words were, "I've moved on to other things. Bitcoin is in good hands." Now, what did he move on to? I want you to leave a comment below of what you thought he moved on to, but I'll give you my thoughts. I think he moved on to very, very cold storage. And if you know what I mean, leave that comment down below too. So this is from Rect Capital again, Rect Capital on Twitter. He says, if you want to keep things simple and group corrective periods, Bitcoin has seen 5 major pullbacks in this cycle. This hasn't changed, by the way. So we had a 22% drop correction on this cycle, another 22%, another 22%, a 33%, and pretty much a 30% drop on the last one. So what can we take from this? Okay, what you can take from this is that Bitcoin has major pullbacks, and every single major pullback, you're gonna hear people yapping, big accounts, huge YouTubers saying the bull market is over, this is done with. Eventually they're gonna be right, but I've been saying that this is a normal pullback. Also, we haven't even had a blow off top yet, and people were bearish at the $90,000 range, mid-90s. I mean, can you imagine that? When we were at $69,000 last bull market, I don't think very many people were bearish, okay? Now, that would have been a great time to start getting bearish because the price did drop to about $15,500 after FTX collapsed and all the lending platforms collapsed, but that is something to think about, okay? We don't have any of that. We have a very healthy market right now. Bitcoin hasn't even dropped to 40%, which is totally normal. Actually, when Bitcoin dropped from $64,000 to $30,000, it was like a 55% drop. Can you imagine the carnage in this space during a 55% drop? It was crazy, okay? But if you held, you would have rose, it would have gone right back to all-time highs and even above. All right, see you guys.